What's going on, friends? NoZoupForYou here, and we've had a lot going on in World of Warships recently. We've had the Royal Navy arc start with the little in-game missions to do and the chances to get Royal Navy destroyers ahead of time. We've also received, on the community contributor side, a lot of test ships to try out, and one of those is the Bourgogne, and that's what we're going to take a look at today. So I'm going to give you my first impressions of this Tier 10 French battleship. I'm going to tell you what I think about it, how it feels, and what you can expect when it finally makes it into the game. I love French battleships. I love high-tier French battleships. Or I might say loved. That's shifted a little bit. I loved the Alsace 1.0, the original one that made it into the game before the nerf that it took so that they could shoehorn Jean Bart in and make it just a little more powerful. I like Republic a lot. I think it is a very strong battleship at Tier 10. I enjoy playing it. I think it has a lot of redeeming qualities to it. So I am a fan of French battleships, and I'm a fan of battleships in general, though I do love all the classes, with the exception of aircraft carriers, which I'm sure you all know that. But it hurts to get a French battleship that I just am tepid on, that I just don't feel that good about. So, you know, these first impressions on the Bourgogne really kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. So let's talk about the stats of the Bourgogne. First, hit points, 74,700. To put that into perspective, the Republic has 92,400 hit points. Stalingrad, a cruiser at Tier 10, has 72,450 hit points. The Kronstadt at Tier 9, another cruiser, has a similar hit pool. So, as far as Tier 10 battleships go, the Bourgogne is at a significant disadvantage right off the bat. Guns on the Bourgogne. You've got 3 quad turrets with 380mm guns with a range of 24.8 kilometers. Your fire chance of these is 36%, which is pretty standard for all battleships. The secondaries on this hover right around 10 kilometers dependent on your setup. I think right now I'm at about 9.9 with the way my captain is laid out and the modules that I've chosen and everything else. Your guns have a 24.6 second reload, and that's using main battery mod 3. For everyone out there, these stats should sound very, very familiar. And if you're wondering why, these are the stats of the Alsace. This ship, the Bourgogne, is an Alsace. It is an Alsace at Tier 10. The only difference between this ship and the Alsace, the only major difference between this ship and the Alsace, is that this is a Tier 10 battleship that has reload booster on it. That is your only significant, gigantic difference between the Tier 9 Alsace and the Tier 10 Bourgogne. And of course, we all know that this battery reload booster allows you to pump out a salvo every 12 seconds for about 30 seconds. It halves your reload time. And that's it. Those are the only major differences between these two ships. So imagine all your gameplay that you've had in the past in the Alsace, and the nerfed Alsace at that. Go back and do a mental rundown of all the rounds you've played in that ship when you're not top tiered and you're playing against other Tier 10 battleships, and that is basically what you are looking at with this ship. And that's about all there is to it. Now I'm going to go a little deeper into it. I'm going to talk about some cons and some pros, but at its base, that is the Bourgogne. You have the same nerf feel of the Alsace, but now you're at Tier 10. One of the big disadvantages of taking this ship into battle, if you do, is that it's gimping your team because you're taking an Alsace into battle. While the other team gets a Tier 10 battleship that has a hit pool of 100,000, or whatever it might be, you're coming into battle as a Tier 10 with 74,700 hit points. And that right there is a problem. The reload boost on this ship is cool, but with the dispersion that it has, good luck. I've had times when I've been shooting at cruisers that are right in front of my face, 10 to 12 kilometers away, with reload booster on, and my dispersion goes North, south, east, west, up, down, all around, and I might get 1 or 2 citadels out of it, but the ship's able to escape. Of course, then again, sometimes I've been in situations where the exact same rounds peg the thing and absolutely destroy it. So the dispersion on this ship is, well, Alsace dispersion, if you're used to that. And some of you might like it, some of you might not. Battleships for this ship are a challenge. And for many of those battleships, to me at least, it seems like you can do better damage at range on them than you can up close and personal. So keep that in mind with this ship. And another major problem with this ship is she takes damage easily. Because again, you have Alsace armor. But now you're thrown into the spotlight as a tier 10 battleship, fighting against other tier 10 battleships. Now it's not all bad. And I know a lot of us used to love the Alsace before the nerf, and some of us still love the Alsace even after the nerf. So a big pro to this ship is she's still an Alsace, and you get reload boost. So if you like the Alsace, you have no problem at all playing with her at tier 10, then this might be the ship for you, because on top of your good gameplay in the Alsace at tier 10, you get a reload boost. So there's a big pro right there. Also, the secondary build on this ship can be a lot of fun, though it might not be completely optimal as a top tier tier 10 ship. But you can completely stack your secondaries and have a lot of fun cruising around the map just watching your secondaries pop. Also, this ship is very good at punishing cruisers. I mentioned that earlier. Despite the dispersion that can be somewhat wonky, if all your 12 shells do connect, you're going to absolutely demolish cruisers in this thing. Full HE salvos can do pretty good as well against battleships. If you manage to land a complete salvo on a Yamato or some kind of other battleship, you're going to do decent damage. You're probably going to do about 10k damage and start a fire, maybe 2. So that's a good thing. But I don't like playing with HE in my battleships. I really don't. However, in this ship, I found it a necessity to switch back and forth between HE and AP, which can be kind of inconvenient because with my luck, I always had the wrong type of shell loaded for the situation, and that kind of hurts. So how do you play this ship? How would you play this ship? Well, I guess you play it like an Alsace. You play it how you would play an Alsace if you get stuck in a battle with a lot of tier 10 battleships. She's not really meant to engage other battleships. Try to avoid that if you can. If you have to, well, you're going to have mixed results. This is more of a battle cruiser type of ship, even though she's a full-size battleship. You don't want to go up against Gross or Kurfürst in this thing. You don't want to go up against Yamato on this thing. Play smart in this thing and focus on cruisers. That's what you want to do in this ship. Overall, the Bourgogne, I'm having trouble seeing why they're putting this ship in the game. It's a paper tier 10 battleship that really doesn't need to be here because, again, it's an Alsace with reload booster. And with the nerfs right now, the tier 9 Alsace should be getting the reload booster. They don't need to clone the ship, put it at tier 10, and give it reload booster. That's just kind of silly in my opinion. And I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy on this ship because, again, I like battleships. I like French battleships. I like high-tier French battleships. To me, they can be a lot of fun. Republic is a lot of fun. But this ship, to me, in my first impressions of this work in progress, was not a lot of fun. Because you're taking an Alsace with its nerfs, you're shoehorning it into tier 10, and you're only giving it one small gimmick that is not enough to overcome the significant hit pool that it lacks compared to the other tier 10 battleships. It just does not belong there. However, there are a lot of players that can play the Alsace very good. If you're one of them, you're going to feel right at home in this thing. You really are. For me though, I just couldn't get her working because I wound up getting focus fired a lot by battleships, and this thing just cannot survive that well against tier 10 battleships. The thing that the Alsace has going for it is that it is a tier 9, and if you're top tiered in it, you can do fairly well in it. This ship though, you're always top tier against top tier ships at tier 10. So those are my first impressions on the Bourgogne. Don't know when this ship's coming to the game. Don't know how it's going to be sold, whether it's free XP or coal. Though that it is tier 10 kind of leads me to believe that it might be steel. And I don't know that I would really want to use hard-earned steel on this ship. So time will tell. And also time will tell if there's any changes to this thing. And I would say right now in its current state, it does need a few changes. Just my opinion. Anyhow, guys and girls, hope you all are doing phenomenal, and I will talk to you all later. I am out.